often yes. There is that small thing wherein you pop up like we are high production, like we better TV channels and everything.
Got it.
so, so yeah, that's definitely possible. So what's up? How much was the struggle between yesterday and today to complete the presentation, Jinesh and Saket?
Not much.
You guys got any sleep?
Yeah. We just we spent I think 30-40 minutes. Saket?
Yeah.
Saket can't hear you.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Okay, good,
30.
good.
That's quite fast. Like amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. Also, Saket, this is the first time I'm getting to see you. What's it behind like always like looking at your avatar, and this is do you prefer to like stay like off camera for the most part on your calls?
Yeah, I do prefer staying off camera.
Okay, sorry to put you in an uncomfortable situation in this call.
Definitely. I've been doing this webinar since I think from last 2-3 months. I've started coming online and I've been on stages a lot of time.
Yeah, that was clear for me, like generally, because when I'm talking to people, you get a sense of who is reasonably confident or clearer and has experienced this before, which is great. So I'm definitely looking forward to this conversation on e-commerce bit, because for a while, very early, Arpan, I think we had talked about this e-commerce thing. Since then, there are a few more things that I thought, but then I was looking out for folks who can talk about Shopify, that being the most common thing out there and the most popular thing out there. That's why through a mutual connect, I got to know about Jinesh as well as Saket. But probably subsequently after this, we should also plan like custom e-commerce or something around those lines, which Arpan, you were also discussing. And I don't know if you are at a certain point of time would be ready to do that conversation, which you had said about doing a custom e-commerce thing. Remember?
Yeah. I think that would be fun to actually look at what are the challenges that you would deal with if you were trying to build it custom. Because
try to build it custom.
That you think that if the things that you think are complicated are actually straightforward, the things that you think are very simple, those are the things which get very very complicated.
Because whenever you overlook and you trivialize a problem as this is simple, that's when it comes and bites back.
Yes. So because we have done few of those, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's.
Okay, it's 11:03, so I'll just start with the general introduction.
Sure.
Okay. So hi everyone, whoever is online, thanks for joining in. So you could be on YouTube or I don't know, Facebook Live maybe, and Zoom obviously. So I'm Souvik. I run a web design studio called Miranj in New Delhi. I've been co-organizing this series called Content Web, which is primarily a series of freewheeling conversations that we do for people who create or maintain content-based websites. By content-based websites, I mean websites that are publishing heavy, typically CMS-driven, a marketing site, media site, or e-commerce site, and e-commerce being something that we want to talk about today. In the Content Web series, we want to cover topics from all the three different practices that come together in building such websites, like the content stream itself, which is you can be a copywriter, content strategist, part of a content team, or a designer. You could be a web designer, art director, UI UX designer, or developers, both front end as well as back end. So all these three practices we want to cover in our conversation, as well as there is a fourth pillar, which is website owners, like individuals, businesses, publishers, different business functions like marketing, analytics, and things like that. Those are also subjects we want to take up at a slightly later date. And if you are interested in any of these subjects, want to hear on topics related to these practices, please go to hasgeek.com/contentweb and put in either a proposal or a request for a topic and a subject, and we can have those conversations. So last weekend, I said that it was a slightly different session because we have two guests, which is unlike usual thing. We usually have just one guest, and this time we have three. Which makes it even more special. So first, we have Arpan, who will be doing or helping us moderate the entire session. for us. So Arpan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Arpan. I am founder of a company called Able, which is made up of a group of very talented designers, developers. We basically build apps and websites, stuff that you like to, hopefully products that you will enjoy using. I specialize primarily on the web, working on responsive design, working on different things around different types of web applications. Yeah, that's my intro.
Thanks, Arpan, for agreeing to be the moderator. It's great to have you do it. All right, next up, we have Saket. Saket, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Souvik. Hey everyone, it's Saket, and I'm the new initiative lead at Marmeto, and we empower the entire commerce community. So we build e-commerce sites and we keep solutioning about it, the custom solutions, the applications, or anything that is related to your e-commerce. And we have launched more than 500 brands, and we have serviced more than 1,000 brands over e-commerce platforms.
All right, wow. Okay, third guest. We have Jinesh. Jinesh, please introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks, Souvik. Hey, everyone. Hi, this is Jinesh. I'm founder of a consulting firm called Ethos. What I do primarily is work with bigger e-commerce merchants and help them with their technical needs and marketing needs. And I just specialize only on Shopify websites. So been working on Shopify websites for more than 6 years now, and yeah, anything and everything about Shopify.
Oh, excellent. So Saket and Jinesh are the people who would be primarily giving us gyan in this session. Jinesh, what would you be speaking about today?
So today we are the topic of the conversation will be around, is Shopify right platform for you? So the thing that we want to cover is what does an e-commerce merchant look for, all the systems that they require, how does Shopify fit in, and why Shopify is so popular among e-commerce merchants.
Okay, although you already have hinted at this, but I still want to ask you, who do you think will likely benefit from this session the most?
I would say the merchants who are actually looking for any CMS that let's say if they want to launch a brand, or any offline merchant who is thinking of creating a website on their own, they will find this session helpful. Even merchants who have been using a legacy platform and trying to figure out if they should switch to a more flexible platform or more modern platform, they should also find this useful.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jinesh. Okay, I'm really looking forward to this first conversation on e-commerce as a thing in content web. We have not done an e-commerce specific conversation before. And with that, I'll just hand over to Arpan, who'd start with a few instructions and then take the show forward from there. Thanks.
Sure. Hi, everyone. As our session is getting started, we'll have Saket and Jinesh who will be sharing a little bit about Shopify. They'll be taking about 20-25 minutes to talk to us and share a little bit about what conditions you would look at to consider whether Shopify is the right option for you. After that, we will have around 20 minutes for Q&A. And so I think some of you are joining from Zoom and some of you are joining from YouTube. On Zoom, you can put your questions in the chat box, and when you want to ask a question, I can either unmute you or I can read out the question. If you are on YouTube, you can put your questions in the live chat, and we'll try to we'll be looking at that as well. So I don't have many other suggestions, any more instructions right now. Let's get started. Over to you. I guess Jinesh, you're getting started.
Yeah, so we'll do a presentation first, and then we open for this Q&A. I'm just sharing my screen. Hey, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. So we want to know, is Shopify right platform for your e-commerce needs? Just quickly go through the what does an e-commerce merchant require? Normally, any person who wants to sell online, they need a system to publish, to actually store the catalog information online. They want to put. Then the second thing that they need is the online store to showcase the brand and showcase the products. The third thing that they require is online marketing and traffic tools to get people on our website. And the fourth thing that they require is the operations, managing the whole suite of things on how to, once the order comes in, what to do next, etc. So we are going to go deep into each and every each of these 4 areas. We'll start first with the online catalog bit on how to, what all things do we need to manage online catalog. Saket?
Thank you so much, Jinesh, for putting lights on the topic today. So as we already understood from the Jinesh point, that while you're going to sell anything online, you need to carry forward to all these steps that is coming in. You have to manage the catalog. You have to have your own online store where you can showcase your brands and products. Then you have to bring traffic to your website. And the final thing is when the orders start coming in, you have to manage those orders. So taking it from the top, the first thing is online cataloging. What does a cataloging means? So if you are already brainstorming that you are going to sell online, then definitely it might be a new lingo for you. But cataloging is something where you manage all your products. For someone who's already managing all the products, they might know what cataloging is. So for them, they might require a fast and efficient process to manage these things. So how cataloging works is, I have a product to sell. Since product is the heart of business, what is required is I need to manage them properly, that how the presentation will be, how the control will be in my hand, how can I put all the things there, how can I manage the media, how can I manage the review of the product, and all other details about it. For example, if I want to put some images on my catalog where I can manage all my products, suppose I have 20 products that I'm going to sell, and I want to list all those products on my e-commerce website. So before listing it, I might require a catalog machine where I could put all the description, details, images, and all the rest of the details, swatches, different variants that I have been creating. I need to put all those things there. So this is what cataloging means, where you have to do all this thing. So you need a platform or you have to build a platform. See, there are only 2 ways of doing e-commerce business. Either you are going for a custom developed e-commerce website, or you are choosing any of the platform, regardless, whatever it is, you can choose any of the platforms. So for both the systems, you need a catalog management system there, where you can manage all the products, you can put all the things, and you can manage the reach from there as well. For example, the online store is not the only place where people sell. They sell it on multiple point of sales. So you need to manage the reach also to Facebook, to Twitter, whatever reach you are going to be going to take it from there. You have to manage it from there itself. You need the catalog management system to be efficient, where it operates in so efficient manner, where you don't have to worry about the speed, you don't have to worry about the lingos. It should be very much clear from the messages that is coming on the catalog, that what point you have to put in there. Then the presentation will be how it will look like to the exact customer. When the customer will log in, there should be a preview option where you could preview it, and the full control should be in your hand, that when do you want this product to be visible, when do you want this product to be hidden, or when it is going out of stock. All the things should be in your hand. So this is what a cataloging does. For next step, we have online store. Now you have already created your catalog. You have all the descriptions ready with you. You have all the images, you have all the videos. You have enter all the SEO details. For example, the meta tags, how will the description look like when you're doing the SEO. When you have done all these things, the next thing comes is showcasing your product on your online store. Now, when you're creating an online store, there are multiple things that needs to be keep in mind. So first thing that your store is representing is your brand name. When people buy any product from marketplace from your brand, they only care about the reviews that is coming in for every product. But when they visit your particular store, there is a credibility coming in for you. So the appeal, the UI, the customer experience should be so great that people should be able to recognize that this is the brand where I should come and I should buy product from. So first thing that is important while building an online store, while thinking about building any of the online store, is your design should be customizable. At any point of time, you should be able to customize it. At any point of time, you should be able to change it according to the need of the market. It should be custom. It should be custom contented. For example, the content that is coming in, it should be dynamic. Content should not come from a static content. Do not drive audience. Definitely, you should keep updating the content of the website so that people get new things every time when they come to your website. Blogging is definitely a marketing weapon because it generates traffic to your websites directly. So blog should be there itself on the website only. Then the speed is something that might, because if you see the survey, more than 50% people leave the website if they load slower, because nobody wants to wait. In this competitive market, there are brands growing every day. Not a single, I feel there is not even a single category where competition is not there. So what you are offering to your merchant, what you are offering to your customers is the most important thing. So speed is the most important part. Now the next thing is your payment integration, checkout and cart. So payment integration is something, see, when you're selling something, you might need to accept the payment. How you're going to do that? There are two ways again. Now, if you choose a platform where payment integration is seamless, you just have to enter the credentials and details of your payment gateway and it is done. You don't have to do multiple things. You don't have to do a sandbox testing into it, that payment is coming or not, because it is already tested on platforms. So while going with platform, it is very important to see if the payment gateway that you are using is available on that platform or not. Or if you're building it by yourself, if you're building a custom e-commerce website, then you need to take care of which payment gateway you want to integrate into. And the next thing is checkout and cart experiences. Cart and checkout, they both are subsidiaries lingos actually. Cart is something where people can see what are the items they are going to buy, and checkout is a place where they pay the amount, or they enter their details where they want to get the product delivered. So the experience should be created in such a way that people love to come in again and again. And it should be upselling something. For example, if you are creating an online website and you are selling a product, and if you want to upsell any of the product, the cart and checkout page are the best pages that is coming in for that. Jinesh, you can.
Yeah. So once we have the online catalog ready, and once we are showcasing these products on our website, the third thing that any e-commerce merchant will write is are the tools to do online marketing and analytics. So what does it mean? So normally in e-commerce stores normally get most of the traffic from either Google's organic search, Google paid search, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, emails, affiliates, and also remarketing and other stuff. So if the platform that that an e-commerce merchant decides to use should be able to work with all these tools to get more traffic. So for example, let's say let's talk about search engine optimization. Ideally, the website should be able to go through the content of the website. I mean to say, let's say the Google bot should be able to go to the website and should be able to surface small tidbits about the website and show directly in the search results. All these stuff increases your organic click-through rate. So for example, let's say if somebody is searching for a particular product, directly on the Google search result page, they should be able to see some price information and rating, so that more people are likely to click on that particular search result. So the second thing, these things are not much talked about, but any e-commerce merchant who wants to, let's say, run ads on Facebook and Instagram, and Google, they need to create something called catalog feed. Your system should be able to create these catalog field and should be able to send that information to Facebook and Google so that we can run ads on those platforms. For example, when you browse Facebook and Google, you see all these ads with titles and price and product images, etc. All these are driven by feed which comes from your website, which are powered by your website. And let's say if a product goes out of stock, or let's say you make changes in the price of the product, those things are automatically updated in your ads. So there's no mismatch in what your ad is and what your actual product website content is. So your system should be able to dynamically update the ads based on the content that is changing on this website. After so for example, the other thing that we need is analytics. So ideally, when people come to the website, we should, as an e-commerce merchant, you need to know what type of traffic is working, what type of traffic is not working, which products are selling, which categories are selling, where are people dropping, which blogs are getting more views, which blogs are leading to sale, etc., Your system should be able to should provide a good detailed view of what's working and what's not working on the website. The once you have traffic, actually this is the most complex bit, where the fourth thing that's required is operations, where this is the most complex bit, because each business is different. Normally, this is the most overlooked part. There are many say CMSs which does a good job of creating websites and maybe giving some traffic, but the order management is where most of the energy of any e-commerce merchant is spent. They hire lots of people to fulfill orders, etc., etc. So, what does an order management system mean? This is mostly these are the things which are going in the backend, but are required and which are incredibly complex. Just for example, let's take an example of order manage. Let's say what happens when an order comes in. As soon as an order comes in, the customer should receive a thank you confirmation email and maybe SMS also. Second thing that that is needed is we need to connect our system with our shipping partner to create a available number. Third thing that should happen is as soon as available number is generated, we should be able the system should be able to send an email to customer saying, hey, your order has been shipped. Then the system should also be able to track the stages, whether it's out for delivery, whether it's reached your nearest station, etc., etc. System should also be able to create an invoice and also accounting and all the stuff, etc. The system should also be able to create a profile of the customer, should be able to update the profile of how many orders has the person spent, orders the customer has made, should be able to store multiple addresses, should be also able to store the email ID, etc., for remarketing, other stuff. Just order itself is so much complex, and there are many more things that the system should do in the backend. They should, for example, just to give you an example, let's say, if you want to do a special sale and you want to send emails to only those people who have purchased a particular category of products, your system should be able to segment those the list of those people, and we should be able to send in a specific campaign on email, on SMS, on remarketing, on Google, Facebook, etc., seamlessly without any issues. So these are the things that happen in the backend, and our system should be flexible enough to account for all the backend invisible things which are incredibly complex, seamlessly and easily should be able to do. Now, where does Shopify fit in all these requirements, all these main core functions, and why is it popular? I think Saket, can you take this?
Yeah, definitely, Jinesh. So basically, we are talking about where does Shopify fit in it. When you are talking about selling something online, you have learned about the basic hygienes, that you have to take care of all the operational part where orders are coming in, you have to ship those products, and then you have to manage the customer profiles, how many orders are coming in, the returns, the inventory, all of the things. So where does the Shopify fits in all these things? From starting from catalog management to online store development, then from marketing to the operations. These are the four important part of an e-commerce business. So how does Shopify fit into it? So Shopify actually a platform which directly sits in the middle of all those things. It lets you create your own catalog. It lets you customize your own online store according to you. It lets you manage all the marketing things into the Shopify backend panel only. And then it lets you manage all the operational part there itself. Now, the most important thing that comes in, that when people start getting into basic things, for example, if you are scaling and every day you have to think about the bandwidth, that I have to increase my bandwidth now. It makes complex for you to just think about your business and just think about selling, not about these basic hygienes. So Shopify takes care of all these things. Either it's search engine optimization, or it's unlimited bandwidth, or how many products should be listed. There is no limit of listing your products. You can limit unlimited product. You can post unlimited product on Shopify's backend, and then you can publish it live. Moving on, the platform is responsive with all the devices. People can definitely build a website which is fast and very much efficient. The support that Shopify provides is really very great. And if you are using suppose you are scaling, see, the important part is when you start selling online, you look for a bigger picture, that what will happen when you start scaling up. Will this platform help you out when you start scaling? because when you start scaling, there are multiple ERPs and CRM coming into picture, because you might need to manage multiple things. So will the system let you integrate with it? So there are simple custom plugins made for all these things where you can integrate any of the CRMs and ERPs. It is open to all the integrations. The platform, Shopify platform, is open to all the integration. Now coming towards how the user will see to your online store, what the user wants from your online store and how they'll see it. So in that we can see, Jinesh, you can put the next slide. Yeah. So you can see the theme is directly available on Shopify, which is definitely available on most of the platforms. And on Shopify, it is divided into sections. So building a theme into sections is a very unique approach, which definitely should be there so that you can create your own website without involving any technical expertise into it. You don't need to be technical enough. You don't need to be technically sound to create your own website. If you're just starting your website, you can definitely go and choose a theme which has the minimum amount of feature that is required by you, and you can customize it accordingly and you can start selling. Now at scale, definitely there are multiple things coming in. At scale, you might want to build a custom solution. You might need to make a new feature that is not available in the theme. You can definitely hire an expert for that, and this community already has multiple experts sitting in the corners for helping you out. You can see there are custom plugins for everything. For example, if there is something which is not available on the basic theme that you are purchasing, and when you purchase it and you want a custom plugin to be integrated into it, you can definitely do that by just going to the Shopify App Store and finding a right plugin for which you are looking for, and you can integrate it with just one click add. You don't need to get into the coding to integrate all these plugins. The store development is very easy. The customization, as I said, completely depends on your creativity, how you want to customize it, what banners you want to put, what carousel you are looking for. So all these things is very simple when you start building your online store on Shopify. Now, what is Shopify? Why it is so popular? What is the ecosystem of Shopify? How does the developer works? How does the integration works? So Shopify is basically a very similar platform to all the platform that lets you build your online store. The only difference that comes here is it is very affordable. It starts with $30 per month, just $30 to start with. And then while you scale, you can definitely go ahead with all the plans. There are multiple things. See, if you'll start playing around it, you'll be able to understand what are the offerings that Shopify has. But if you look from the top, the most important benefits that Shopify gives is it's affordable. It is very appealing. The online store that Shopify has, it presents a visually appealing online store to the world. The marketing tools that are readily available in Shopify are very much robust, and it is very easy to use. You'll be able to understand how thing works there, and you can take care of all these things by yourself. You don't need multiple people and experts to do these things. And the last thing is security. See, if you're building something on any of the platform, there is a very important thing coming in, that is your security. Security is a very big thing that you should take care of, because breach is something which can happen to any place. But Shopify has PCI compliances, which keeps your store protected from hackers, and it upgrades the security with time. Now the key benefits that Shopify is providing is it is easy to build a store. You don't need anyone. You can just start building your store. You don't need any expert in the starting. While scaling, definitely you need someone who can help you out by doing this stuff that you don't know, because online store has multiple customizations. There might be multiple things coming into your mind that I should build this, I should build that. So for those things, you can definitely hire expert. But for someone who's just starting, they can just go ahead, select a theme and start customizing it. Don't need anyone, any expert advice to do that. No technical coding or knowledge required to do this. And has 100 of e-commerce tools readily available on the App Store, even on the Shopify itself, where if you want to ease your operations or ease your process, you can definitely look around. There are descriptions about everything written there clearly. You won't you won't get confused into it. And the other thing is one price covers everything. So when I said it starts from $30, the basic cost of your store, the functionality, the hosting, the SSL all comes under one price. Or everything, the price that they're giving has benefits included with it. So you can go ahead in pricing and plans of Shopify. You can see which plan suits you better, and you can definitely go ahead with the most suitable plan for you. But for someone who's starting, definitely they can check how they want to do that. And if someone is migrating from some else store, they can also see what benefits are coming into picture for them. Now the uptime reliability. Shopify's uptime is 99.9%. It hardly goes down. And the store has already PCI compliances and integration with all the third parties payment gateways, which makes it easy for you to integrate any of the payment integrations. Like when you're selling online, payment integration is definitely a very important part for you. So you have to integrate that. You can do it via one click, and you can do it if you want to integrate PayPal, for example. There is PayPal one click checkout. You can integrate it directly. If you want to go for a third party, you can definitely find a list of third party payment providers there. You just have to enter your credentials and it is integrated. And the one which we spoke about, the load time. Load time is a very important thing. So it has incredibly fast load time of 80 millisecond page response time. It has. So you can also see the performance here: ease of use, design flexibility, sales features, website features, customer score, help and support, value for money. Definitely all these things which is provided there is very great in the platform that Shopify has provided. Now moving forward, the backend of the Shopify. It's so simple and it's so easy to understand. Most of the things are self-explanatory. The deep dive analytics, where you can see how many orders come in, who were the customer who returned to your website, because world is getting data driven every day. You need to understand the data if you are selling something. You need to understand the marketing trend. You need to understand all of the things. You need to see which of your ads generated how much revenue. So all these things can be seen directly in the Shopify's backend. You don't need to visit to multiple places to check out all these things. And managing all these things is so easy. Is when you start using it, you'll be able to see that most of the things are self-explanatory. You can just log in and see. And half of the things will be clear from you there itself. And if something is not clear, suppose if there is something which is coming again and again to your mind, so there are multiple resources that are provided by Shopify. Shopify has already given multiple resources where you can which you can refer to, and you can find a great solution out there. Now moving forward, the online store. The online store is very much customizable. You can select the theme, which theme you want to select. There are multiple, more than 100 themes are there available, readily available on Shopify. You can select the theme. You can see what are the features required. For example, if you are doing a business in electronics, you can see who are the customers who are readily doing great job in electronics, how they have built their store. You can check their store out, and then you can find a similar design, similar functionality site in the theme section as well. If you want to build anything custom, definitely you can hire expert. But there are multiple things that is readily available on Shopify. You just have to visit the theme section and you'll be getting all the details over there. Moving forward, we have Shopify Community. Now, suppose any question is coming into your mind. If you are playing around with things and you're not getting something, which is a very small thing, and you don't need any expert for that, what you can do is Shopify have help and Shopify Communities, where people stays online there. Most of the people, because see, it is a global community. And people from all across the world are sitting there, just coming there to seek for their questions and to seek answers for all the problem that is coming in. So you can just go into any of the discussions that is going on, and you can ask any of the questions that is popping up into your mind, and people will be able to help you out there itself. You can see it's just a screenshot when the members, the post and the online people is showing into it. When you'll get onto the Shopify community, you'll be able to see the multiple people sitting online, and when you post your question, you can get a reply within hours that how you can solve the problem that is coming in, or if is there any discussion, you can carry forward the discussion also. A healthy discussion definitely clear up your mind a lot. Moving forward, we have the App Store. Now, the App Store is a very unique approach of Shopify again. They have created their own App Store where they have let expert come in, fill the gaps that Shopify would have. For example, if there is no return solution on Shopify, then they have let the merchants come in, put any return solution for the merchant, where merchant can come and get these apps directly from this App Store. Now, for multiple things, for marketing to your management, your operations, you can find multiple apps on the App Store. There are more than 4,000 apps available for Shopify to ease your operations, for your sales, for your operations, for your online customizations, for upselling, for everything. You just have to search the keyword there and you will find the relevant app for that. Moving forward, we have when to not use Shopify, which I think Jinesh would be able to tell you in a better way. So Jinesh, over to you.
So Shopify was built by e-commerce merchants to when they were looking for a solution which they could not find in the market. So it's actually built by e-commerce merchants for e-commerce merchants. And the basic idea at that time was, they created a tool for people who are stocking the products in their own warehouse and selling it online across the world, globally. So if any business model which is around that, obviously the business models have changed and evolved. There are new models where drop shipping model where you don't need to stock products and you can directly ship. You can directly just do the marketing and the supplier can ship directly to the customer, etc. For all those type of models, Shopify is a great starting point, a great solution which can help their needs. But if you're trying to build a complex business model, then maybe Shopify would not be a right choice. For example, let's say if you're trying to build a marketplace where you are trying to curate a set of buyers and their products, and then you're trying to get new buyers to that marketplace. You want to create a system where all these sellers have a dashboard with their own profile, with their own rating, seller rating, product ratings, where you want to, where let's say you are policing your sellers, where you want to monitor which seller is selling how much, and you want to do commissions and payouts and all this stuff. Then I think Shopify would not be a good solution if you're trying to build a e-commerce marketplace. So similarly, let's say if you are trying to do a rental e-commerce model, where let's say you want to sell a product, but not outright sale, but you want to sell it for a few days and then get it back. You need a system in such cases. You need a system where you can provide a product for certain days. Then you should have a system to capture deposit, send the product again, take the product back. You should be able to you'll need a system where you can have a customer wallet. You should be able to charge from that wallet, and it becomes more and more complex from there and there. I think for such type of complex business models, Shopify would not be a great solution. Next, we'll talk about the top brands who are using Shopify. You might already know a few of these. There are many global brands who use Shopify, like from Bajaj, the Indian brands like Bajaj, Raymond's, Kylie, even Wow Cosmetics, all this stuff. On international level, there are many. There are like Allbirds, Staples.ca, Heinz, Gymshark. All these. There are many more brands who use Shopify to power their e-commerce channel. Saket?
Yeah. So Shopify already has 1 million plus merchants who are using Shopify right now to empower their commerce business, and it is globally expanded in more than 175 countries. And the revenue that was released via sales on Shopify was more than $200 billion. And you can already see all the top brands using it. So definitely it's a worth trying platform for once, which I would definitely recommend.
All right, that's it from our side. We'll open this for Q&A.
Right. Thank you so much, Jinesh and Saket, for that presentation. Anybody here, all of those of you who are attending, do any of you have any questions that you would like to ask at this time? On YouTube, you can put it in your live chat. In Zoom, you can just add it in chat or raise your hand, and I can unmute you. All right. So while we wait for that, I just want to discuss, right? One of the things that you're talking about is, let's say as a designer, one of the things that I look at first is how a website looks. And you talked about themes in Shopify, but how easy is it to design or build my own? Like if I have created my own custom design, how easy is it to implement it? And what are the limitations that I might come across when I'm trying to implement that?
Definitely. If you have any custom build design, you can definitely implement it very easily. You just have to import the same into Shopify's library and you'll be able to use it. And since if you are implementing a design that has been created by you, you might be aware about the import and export functionality that works in all of the platforms. So you just have to import the particular theme that you have built into the library. It will be converted into the liquid format because Shopify has a different language coming into picture when we build Shopify store, that is liquid. So it will convert it into liquid, and then you'll be able to use it. Definitely, people definitely buy themes from different platforms as well, different websites where they find a better custom design themes for them, which is not compatible initially with Shopify, but they can definitely convert it into Shopify compatible format, and they can import it back into the Shopify's library. So Shopify has given open options to all of them.
Sure. But in terms of this, right, doesn't Shopify still have a certain structure that you have to follow? Like you have a homepage, you have category, like what if I have a sale and I want to create a custom landing page?
Yes,
Does this
definitely.
like all of, okay.
Definitely.
And what about, see, again, the question that I also wanted to go back to was, what are the parts that are difficult to customize or should not be modified because Shopify has a certain structure for that we need to follow?
Correct. So basically, see, limitations. I would cover it in such a way where limitations is something which is already available on all the platforms, but the structure that Shopify follows do not restrict you to do anything. Suppose if there is only there are structures available in sections, you have to build your sections there. In sections, you can do any of the things. For example, if you're building a custom section for you, you can build anything into that particular section. If you want to keep it an image text, you can definitely do that. Shopify does not restrict the basic structure, the one structure that you are making. The overall structure is definitely restricted. It has to be in liquid, and the pages that you are building should be from Shopify's new pages section where they're allowing you to create new landing pages. So everything can be done there. I don't think there is any limitation coming up for the structure point of view.
Also, if I may add, so Shopify gives you access to edit HTML and CSS. So let's say if you want to build your own template, you can do that. Regarding limitation, I think there are few limitations that any merchant or developer should be aware of. First thing, let's say if you are on normal Shopify plan, let's say if you are on $29, $79 or $299 plan, you will not have access to checkout stage. If you want to make any modifications around those areas, you will not be able to do it because checkout is restricted in these plans. But if you are on Shopify Plus plan, which is the enterprise level plan, you also get access to checkout, and you can do much more things. Let's say if you want to edit checkout in some form or the other, you can do that. This is for security purpose that they don't allow access to checkout because they want all their orders to, they don't want, if the checkout gets hacked or something like that, then the payments and everything can get hacked. So Shopify does not allow you to do any checkout customization. The other customization that I've seen that I would say that there's a particular structure to the URL of all Shopify stores. So let's say any product page will always contain /products in the URL. Any category page will always contain /collections in the URL. That's how Shopify has been designed. You might say it can be good, bad for SEO. There are mixed opinions because let's say Google is becoming more. Some Google SEO consultants might say you should have shorter URL structure, etc. Those /collection and /products add some characters to the URLs. Apart from that, I think because Shopify allows you to access HTML, CSS, you can build your own any type of landing page that you want. There's not much restrictions around that.
Okay, all right. I guess maybe we can dig into that later. But let's talk about okay. One more question I had. Right, you have a simple website that you're starting to build, but you also mentioned integrations and additional apps that you can add. At what type or what kind of functionality, like among the hundreds of websites that you have built out, right? What are the common integrations that you have seen or you have realized that would be needed, and at what point of complexity would that come in? That would be one. And the second would be, normally in a website that you're building on Shopify, what would be a reasonable number of apps to add? Because okay, I think what would be a reasonable number of applications or integrations to add into your website before it gets too heavy or slows down?
So basically, there are a couple of apps that are really important for you when you're starting to do something. If you want multiple logistic integration, see, Shopify offers one logistic integration directly into the Shopify store. But there might be.
Could you clarify what you mean by that?
Yeah. So suppose if you are using one of the logistic partners to ship your products, for example, I'm using
Right.
as my logistic partner to ship my product. But there are people who are using local deliveries, multiple local deliveries to ship all the products, to cover all the pin codes that are available in India. So for that, you might need one extra third-party app where you can integrate all the logistic partner at once and you can ship all the products. So in that case, you need one of the plugin. It is not difficult at all because Shopify has built everything DIY kind. You have to, you can do it everything by yourself. So you just have to click on add app and the integration is done. You just have to approve it from the admin section because there are staff accounts coming into picture. When you create one of the Shopify stores, it is created by one of the admin accounts. And with every account, there are multiple staff accounts coming in. So app can be added by any of the person, but it has to be approved by admin only.
Okay.
That we need this app. So once the app is approved, you can open it and there is documentation available for the onboarding of all the apps. Definitely people can follow the documentation and it is completely DIY. Most of the apps are DIY. There are apps which require some of the assistance. In that case, you can directly reach out to the app developers, not Shopify. You can directly reach out to the app developers who are into ecosystem. They'll help you out. And talking about the important apps that would come into picture, that also depends on how you want to create your online store, because there are people who install wishlist app in the starting. Wishlist is something which people want to customize. So there is already multiple customized wishlist app available on Shopify. They don't want to build a custom wishlist section for them. They readily integrate the one of the plugin available on Shopify. Most of the people integrate the returns app, where because returns is something which is not available on Shopify. Shopify has no return management solution into picture. So for that, there are multiple apps into picture. So people into apparel industry, because apparel has a lot of returns coming in. So they integrate the return app. So it is based on the category that you are working with. If you are in apparel industry, the section and the number of apps would be different for you. But if you are in a different electronic industry, then it would be different for you. So it is completely, it depends on what your industry is and what app would suit you better.
Okay, so what are the implications of using apps? For example, one of the things that you mentioned, right, that it allows other businesses to build apps. Shopify gives that option for businesses to build apps and integrate into the marketplace. But that also implies that using these apps has a certain expense, right? Is it maybe for every transaction or on a monthly basis? Like, how does it work and how expensive can it get when we are using let's say logistics and returns and maybe something for the front end in terms of customization or whatever else?
Definitely it starts free of cost. Like there are many apps which are free of cost as well, but it goes to a very high extent also, because while you are scaling, you might need products that could help you scale. Because when you are already reaching out a level where you are selling more than 200, 300 products every day of a very high amount, then definitely there are multiple things coming into picture that you need to take care of. And everything cannot be provided by any of the platforms. And then what people do is people build custom things for that, which is a very one-time high cost. You have to spend a one-time high cost for that, for building that particular feature. And to manage that, it becomes complex because things getting changed every day. Technology is getting changed every day. If you are getting one app from any of the app stores, from the app developers, they'll keep them updated. But when you'll try to update all of the things every time, then that might end up very costly for you, right? So it ranges from free to a very high level, where I can say more than $1,000 also there are app available for more than $600, $700 as well. But that completely depends on the volume that you are doing. Most of the apps are volume based. If you're selling 100 products, then the prices would be different. There are a pricing structure, pricing plan made by Shopify developers only. They have provided multiple pricing plans. For example, there is one annual pricing plan, there is one-time pricing plan, there is a recurring pricing plan that you can build. You can also build a custom pricing plan for any of the customers.
Right. You mentioned, right, if I am building something completely custom, I need to maintain it and make sure that it is updated. But how reliable are the apps that are there in the marketplace that, okay, I use this app. How do I know if 1 year from now I'm going to be able to keep using, or do I need to change or use something else? So as a customer, I might be selecting Shopify considering the apps that are there for certain functionality, but what if that app is discontinued? So how do I know which apps are likely to be reliable? Like, do we have information about that?
Yes, definitely there are reviews available. You can check it out. Like most of the apps have free trials. While you are using any of the things, you can definitely refer the reviews that is coming in. Shopify promotes couple of apps in the featured section. You'll be able to get it from there. Staff pick section is there where they promote. They have different sections for the app. For example, you can see app which is worthy to use is a section on Shopify App Store. You can get onto that. There are sections which is called useful apps in India. So this is the way they have categorized the app section, where they list the apps which is actually important for the customers. They put it into featured section. The app which are doing very great, who are receiving very great reviews, they put it in the a section which it says app worth using for, and there are multiple sections for that. So since for one single thing there are multiple apps available, you have options to try and use. You can go ahead with trying multiple apps and then decide which suits you better. It's just like ghadi pehle istemaal kare fir vishwas kare.
Sure. I've also read about Shopify Plus or Shopify Gold, right? Uh, do you recommend customers using that, and at what point would would that be useful? At what point is something like that useful?
All right, I'll take this. So first of all, see, Shopify is very smart. What they do is they charge $29 in the basic plan, but they also charge 2% as a transaction fee if you're on $29 plan. If you're on $79 plan, then they charge 1% transaction fee. So
that is on top of the credit card
on
fees,
top,
right?
yeah. In India, actually, in US, actually it becomes part of the Shopify also acts as a payment gateway, and it includes the payment processing fee also. But in India and other countries where Shopify is not acting as a payment gateway, these are additional charges charged by Shopify. So let's say from $29 to $79 plan, $50 difference. If you think about it, as soon as you start making more than 3.5, as soon as your revenue crosses 3.5 lakhs per month, it makes sense for you to pay $79 and 1% transaction fee. Similarly, as soon as you start crossing 35 lakhs figure per month, it makes sense for you to go to advanced plan of $299 months and just pay 0.5% transaction fee. And then similarly, as soon as you start moving if you're doing turnover of more than 1.6 crores or something like that, then on Shopify Plus, you just pay 0.25% transaction fee. 0.25%. So if you're doing those many transactions, etc., the transaction fees goes down if you are on a higher plan. The other thing is also, if you go to the higher plans, you get some more features. So let's say on a $29 plan, you can only have 2 staff accounts, but on $79 plans, you get ability to sell something called gift cards, virtual cards to your stores, so that people can purchase gift cards and gift it to friends. And also you can add 5 staff accounts. On $299 plans, you can have more staff accounts, and you also get some additional features. On Shopify Plus, you get even more automations and some even more functionalities. Like you can have unlimited staff accounts. You can create 5 stores or 10 stores actually in Shopify Plus. Let's say if you want to create a separate geo store for particular location, US, for let's say for US, you want to create a subdomain with local content, local pricing, other stuff. You can create sub stores in the Shopify Plus plan for paying one fees. You can have 10 different stores for different geographies. You also get power of automation. So as soon as you cross, let's say, as soon as you're doing 1.5 crore a month, you need a lot of automations. Like you want certain emails to go to certain team as soon as something happens. So let's say if somebody has given us 1-star review, your customer service team should get notification or this has happened. Or let's say somebody, if as soon as you get an order which is high risk, you want your operation team to receive a notification or in some form, let's say in Google Sheet or any email, etc. All these automations, Shopify has built some advanced automations for enterprise Shopify Plus plan. So I think as soon as you reach those revenue numbers, it makes sense for you to upgrade to Shopify Plus.
Okay. Before I ask my next question, I just want to check: is those of you who are watching the stream, does anybody else have any questions? So I was asking questions while waiting for all of you to post. So please do post, because we do want to uh, follow up on that. Um, Anybody? All right. So while we wait, Uh, One of the things that's also been happening quite a bit, right? This rise of Jamstack, rise of headless CMS and headless e-commerce platforms. Uh, if I already have a attractive or fancy website and I want to integrate a shopping cart into my system, like let's say if I want to build a very rich UI like Apple website, right? There, I can't. A website like that would not be easy to implement directly on Shopify. So if I wanted to integrate shopping cart functionality into an app that I already have, how easy or what is how is it possible with Shopify, and how would what plan would I need to be able to do that?
All right, so let's say Shopify has some tools available to integrate Shopify backend to these different channels. So Shopify has something called storefront APIs, which you can use to create custom backend for these, and also Shopify has some integration with Unity. Let's say if you have a game and you want to have you want to let's say have you want to sell some merchandise on this game platform, apps, etc. You can use Shopify Unity APIs and SDK, etc. to build a solution around it. Um, the process is same. So the front end is powered by whatever system that you are using. The backend, where the management of catalog, creating a feed, order management, etc., will be powered by Shopify. You can disconnect front end and back end using these APIs already available by Shopify. Shopify has created some tools to help you do that.
Okay. So what basically what plans or at what point would I be able to use functionality like that?
It's
What would be the
available on all
expectation?
plans. All plans. So 29. You can do this on 29,
So
79.
I can build like I can integrate the API even on the $29 plan.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
The other thing is also we need to know that like normally people who use Shopify. I mean to say about since you had like a question around headless, when should you use headless solution, etc. Normally, the merchants who are using Shopify are merchants who don't want to invest in tech stack. Actually, they
Right.
have capabilities in branding, sourcing products, and other stuff. They necessarily don't want to become a tech company. They want to become more like a consumer company.
Sure.
Generally, I've seen that I would like to say that, let's say, these merchants, normally they are looking for a simple solution to actually sell this product. They are not looking for complex interactions, etc. But having said that, there are tools available on Shopify which you can use to build those interactions and those type of front ends.
Sure. So in the standard, like we have a lot of different e-commerce stores in India, right? Especially some of the larger ones. At what point, like many of them have their own custom or they use different platforms. Like what would be the reasons to not like based on the customers who have come to you or on the current people in the current players in the market, what would be reasons to not use Shopify? Like one of them was if your functionality doesn't fit, but at what scale, or not just talking about the type of business, like a marketplace doesn't fit or subscription service doesn't fit, but are there other factors like maybe scale or control? Like what are the other factors that you would consider for using or not using Shopify? Or I guess maybe let me put it this way: what would be the most complex website that you have seen, or largest website that you have seen that is using Shopify right now?
See,
In
definitely
India?
we have been looking at larger websites. For example, you can see HeadphoneZone. It's a very big website. You can see Raymond's. You can see Lenskart. You can see Fanhood of Book My Show to sell merchandises. They are there. Himalaya is using Shopify. And there are multiple more big creme clients who are using Shopify right now. So bifurcating this, that why they are using and why some people are not using, that would be difficult for us to answer. But to answer your question that why the people are using Shopify, they don't want to get into the basic hygiene things. They don't want to get into the security things where they had to check multiple times if there is any issue coming in. They don't want to get into the uptime, the bandwidth thing again and again to see if the sales volume is high. They need to increase the volume. If it is not very much high, or if the revenue is not coming up, they need to decrease the bandwidth. And there are multiple hygienes that you have to follow while running a website. They don't want to take care of sales only. They don't want to get into all these stuffs. And even they want to hire one expert for this who will take care of all these things. People who come on Shopify generally approach in such a way where they hire one expert, keep their Shopify's technical things with them, and they focus on selling the products. They focus mainly on sales part, which is important for an e-commerce merchant, I believe.
Okay, so let us say that I already have a store. I'm running on WooCommerce or on Magento or on Spree or something like that. How easy? What are the implications if I say I'm considering Shopify and I'd like to move to Shopify? How easy is it to migrate? And what would be this? What are there any specific implications that are there when moving to Shopify?
All right, I'll take this. So normally when you're migrating, you want to do, first of all, content migration, product migration. You want to migrate the old orders, data migration. You also want to migrate customers, and sometimes you also want to retain the old design that you have. These are the broad things, and also you want to make sure that let's say if you're migrating to Shopify, you want to make sure that the old integrations that you had, the old methods of working, etc., still stays. Let's say you can still work with the same payment gateway or same ticketing solution or so customer support solution, etc., while moving to Shopify. These are the main considerations that you would like to see, whether you can migrate the whole content, orders, etc., and also whether you can have the design that you want, and whether you can use the same integrations, or will you require new partners or new type of solutions to do the other bits. It's about the ease of migration. I think it depends actually from migration to migration, but I would say there are lots of tools available which makes it easy for you to migrate. There are some like even one-click migrations available from Wordpress, Magento, where you just need to connect these tools and connect these two platforms, and these tools will convert the data from these Magento and WordPress and convert into format which Shopify can read and import all this within one day. And we don't. It depends actually. So sometimes if it's very complex, where so we have handled projects which had like more than 4 lakh orders and 2 lakh customers, etc. During that time, we need to make sure that whether all the information which is being exported from Magento or WordPress, etc., is in the format that Shopify also understands, etc. And we need to do some manipulation around it and then get it done.
Okay, so basically, in general, would you recommend, if you are moving in, right, would it be something that a person who is not very technical would be able to do, or would you recommend that they hire a Shopify expert to handle a migration like that?
If you have a big store with lots of legacy data, I think it's better to use an expert to make sure that there is no issues while migrating. Also, we need to make sure, one is, let's say, having migration, but also about making sure that, for the customers, when you migrate, you need to switch off the old system and switch on the new system and make sure that everything is working, etc. Those things might become risky and complex if you are doing on a live store, which is living and breathing, with lots of traffic already coming in, and you need to make sure that even your old URLs have to be 301 redirected so that you don't lose any SEO juice that has been SEO goodwill that has been created over a long time. So
yeah, so you want to make sure that redirections and all that.
Yep. So you want to make sure that all these things are covered. If first of all, whether merchant has the knowledge of all this stuff, and whether he or she has that those capabilities, then they can do it on their own. But if they need an expert to make sure that they are following all the checklist, whether they've thought about this, whether they've thought about that, etc. And also, most of the migrations are also to solve a particular problem. So let's say they were not able to do certain things in the old system that they want to do on Shopify. And also, it's not just migrate, it's also about upgrade. If you're moving to a new platform, you might as well upgrade your system to better, let's say, do customer service, or better present a product, or better speed, etc. So for those that so ideally, if you hire an expert, they might even be able to give you more solutions which can simplify your processes.
Yes. Okay, so we are talking about moving into Shopify, but one of the things as an engineer or as a software developer think about is, if I'm using a platform, am I locked in? What if today Shopify meets my requirements, but 2 years or 4 years or 5 years from now, my shop is big and for some reason I need functionality that Shopify does not provide, and I want to move out. How easy is it to get my data out of Shopify and migrate to a different platform, or migrate to a customized platform?
See, for that, I believe, for example, Shopify has readily available tools to migrate on Shopify. You can definitely get all the data from the Shopify, but to move on the platform
Okay.
which you are looking for, it should also have some tools available to get data from other platforms. So none of the
Sure.
platforms that is in the market locked you up. Nobody can make you hostage
Sure.
when you log into any of the systems. You are free to move in
Okay.
and move out at any point of time. But when
Sure.
they are making this experience good for you to move in, the other platform that you are switching to should have the experience of moving in from other platform as well. From Shopify to, I guess, Magento or WordPress, there would have been tools available. So you need to check out for that if there is any tool available, and
Sure.
if you want to migrate. And for custom, if you're doing it custom, then definitely it depends on you how you want to put that data back, because you can definitely get all the data from the Shopify
Out of it.
at any point of time.
Sure. So here, Shopify is an American company. They have been in the Indian market for a while, but I guess the question is like, how do they understand the unique challenges that are there in the Indian market, and are those needs generally met by third-party integrations, or does Shopify themselves have any any changes, or the way they run the business or the way the product works? Has it been does it fit into the Indian market quite
Shopify is a Canadian company actually.
well? Okay.
And yeah, so what Shopify has, so Shopify does some things which especially for Indian market and for other global market, other local markets, they have they do build some personalized tools. For example, in India, COD is big. Like COD, you might even see 60-70% of orders being placed on COD, which is not
Right.
common in
In
different
other
markets,
places.
other places.
Yes.
So especially for India, they built a tool which allows you to restrict COD to certain pin codes, and also maybe charge extra money for COD. So,
Okay. Right.
Shopify themselves created a plugin, and they themselves created a plugin which is accessible to all the stores who are using INR as a currency. So yes, the Shopify does do make sure that if a market is big, and if the need is high, and they are able to solve it using their own system, they can do it. And also, like as Saket already mentioned, there are lots of merchants who solve. There are lots of app developers who solve local issues. For example, let's say if you're selling in China, you want to have going to integrate with Chinese suppliers. If you are a merchant in China and you are selling in China, you want to have some sort of local Chinese shipping integration. You can if the demand is big enough, there are lots of app developers who build those type of solutions. So that this is true for all geographies, not just India. But yeah,
Sure.
to answer your question about India, Shopify has built something for India, like advanced COD, because the demand was high enough.
Okay. So I have a question from YouTube from Sanjeev. What is the difference between WordPress and Shopify?
So WordPress and Shopify, more likely both are a platform where you can create your online store. There is WooCommerce powered by WordPress, and Shopify is already there. So difference would be in the functionalities, and the difference would be in the user experience that is coming in. Different would be in the plugins that is coming in. So it's short of a thing where you can use and decide. Like me selling Shopify to you would not make any sense. And I can definitely give you the key benefits that Shopify is offering, and WordPress already has certain benefits offering to the market, but you'll
Yes.
only get to know that what Shopify has more than WordPress would be when you start discovering the things, like for example, there are multiple things that make your operation very easy. The plugins that I said, the process of customizing your website, the process of managing the catalog, the reviews, the SEO thing. See, the SEO thing is a very big thing that Shopify is already providing. While entering a description, there is one more field in the description field where you can write the meta tags, where you can enter how the SEO will look like on the search page, on the Google search page, how the title and the description will look like. So that can be directly done on the description page itself. So
Right.
having multiple things at one point definitely makes more sense to you uh, uh, if you're trying to get it done from different login screens, from different dashboards actually.
Sure.
So also, if you like, WordPress is content first. The WordPress was a blogging solution actually first. If you are a publishing company, uh, if you are more into content where you are creating content, creative posting post every day, etc. I think WordPress was designed around that when it was launched, and also Shopify was designed around e-commerce. So if your business is around, let's say, just making sure that you are publishing the best content and e-commerce is an afterthought, then maybe WordPress would be a better solution. Similarly, if your business is around e-commerce and blog is just an additional way of getting traffic, then maybe Shopify would be a better solution for Sanjeev if he's looking at comparing these two platforms.
Sure. So basically, WordPress, if your initial focus is content, and Shopify, if your primary focus is e-commerce,
Correct.
that would be a recommendation.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, with like WordPress, it's not a hosted solution. You also need to think about, you need to maybe hire a developer to actually put WordPress files on your. You need to buy a server place and put all this.
But it is available also as hosted solution, right?
Yeah. I think they are managed WordPress solutions also. Yeah.
Managed solutions are there, so that should be fine.
Yep.
Right. Anybody else? Any other questions? Have you, in your experience, right? Have you seen customers who have started on Shopify and then at some point have moved to their own platform, and any particular reasons around that, or do you not see much of that happening?
Yes, at times. Yeah, please, Jinesh.
Generally, I've not seen much because the way Shopify works is, as your needs, so as you grow, your needs become more and more complex, and Shopify is able to handle those needs by using some plugins or the other. But one, let's say, one common reason why I normally see people leave Shopify, especially in India, is if you are trying to sell products in international market. Now, Shopify, the checkout happens in store currency. Okay, generally speaking. So let's say I'm selling on INR, and the checkout also happens in INR, Indian rupees. But if you are selling in, let's say, USA, and you want checkout to happen in USD, and you are selling in Europe, and you want checkout to happen in Euro, etc. There are some tools available which allows you to do those checkouts on those stuff, but sometimes you need also some complex solution. Suppose so some people actually leave because they are not able to have multiple currencies and they want to have different price for different geography and some complex solution which Shopify cannot power. That's one reason that I've seen. Also, also other thing is, let's say if you are selling stuff which is which cannot be let's say some stuff that maybe Shopify does not allow to sell. So let's say if you currently everything is let's say government of India decides to so they have to there are two local government rules. Let's say somebody selling alcohol, just to give you an example, which at the time when Shopify started there was no rule around it, but after the government or some local government brings in that tool that you are not allowed to sell alcohol online. Just to give an example, then Shopify will also have to follow the local law and might ask you to leave Shopify. You can't sell restricted products on Shopify. Okay. Then you need to have your own solution. You can't use Shopify. You have to use this. You have to follow this rules.
Right. So technically, you can't even use your own solution if you're not allowed any either way.
Yeah, but I know. Yeah,
but people will still go ahead. Yeah, I understand.
Correct. But at least if you are on WordPress, you have your own rules, like in Shopify.
Right.
Shopify to follow.
Sure. With Shopify, yeah. So one of the other things that I think you mentioned, and that is becomes very important, is SEO and social or ads on Facebook and on Google. Uh, One thing I would like to know is a little bit more about how much control you have over SEO, as well as how much control you have over the catalog. For example, I have a particular image that I use on my website, but that does that because of the design and of my site, that same image does not fit on the Google ad card, right? On the Google ads or on Facebook ads. So can I customize, like how much customization do I have there, both in terms of SEO and how much control do I have? And how much control do I have over the images that go for the Facebook or Google catalogs?
Well, I'll take your second question first, which is like how much control do I have on Google and Facebook ads? So let's say, take your example. Let's say you have a particular first image which works for your website, and you want to have different image on the ads. The direct integration that Shopify has, free integration with Google ads and Facebook ads, will take the same image and send it to the Google ads and Facebook ads. But if you have a slightly complex, different non-standard requirement, currently it's not available in the solution that Shopify has made. But you can use a third-party tool, something like, let's say, Data Feed Watch or Simprocess Google Ads. There are some tools available which allows you to have different image on these platforms and different image on Shopify. We'll have to use a custom bridge between these two different solutions. And just like that, you can also have different title on website and different title on ads. You can have different, maybe you want to have different data on ads. So those type of tools are available, which will take data from Shopify and will allow you to make some manipulation and submit it to Google and Facebook ads catalogs team. About SEO, I would say, let's say in SEO, normally there are more than, let's say, there are 200 plus known factors which affects the ranking of a particular website, right from website speed, content, unique content, domain authority, the authority of the backlinks, dwell time, focus checking. There's so many things which affect Shopify, which affects the ranking of a particular content. Shopify, because it allows you to edit HTML, first of all, Shopify already mandates themes to put the structured data directly into the theme. So almost all the information is easily accessible to Googlebot or Bingbot, whichever, all these bots who are crawling the website. It's already, they can easily read the data. It's not just by going through H1 tags. There are also some structured schema markups already made into the Shopify in Shopify, which these bots can easily read.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I think Jinesh had some.
Jinesh has. Okay. Right. Okay, that's fine. I think we have covered almost everything that we wanted to discuss. Any closing thoughts, Saket, while we see if Jinesh can join back?
Definitely. So basically, see, platform is something which definitely plays a very important role around e-commerce business. But we should not be completely biased toward any of the platform, because everyone has a new feature and everyone has something different to offer. So we should definitely try around, play around, and sleep over all of the things that is available on all of the platforms, because everyone's requirement is different. I myself would require something different from an e-commerce store, and someone who's doing the same business as of mine would require something else. So the most important thing that a person should do while migrating or while selecting any of the online platform is they should go and try out all of them, because free features available everywhere. Everybody is offering trials, and everybody has articles available on it. People have posted reviews, and there are multiple people are doing this business already. For example, if I am getting into apparel industry, I can definitely get over there and I can see who are the big merchants in my country doing all the apparel stuff on this platform, and how well they're able to manage that, and what are the apps that has been mostly used, how much charges I have to put it into it. Because at the end of the day, it only becomes how easy my process is going to be when I start selling. Even if I'm building a custom thing, all the controls are in my hand. I have to decide what I want to build, what are the features required on my particular e-commerce store, and if I'm going towards any of the platform, I have to decide how to do that. So in such cases, resources are the very important thing which we should refer, and every platform has multiple resources available, not only Shopify. If you'll do a research on all of them, since we are mostly Shopify biased company where we only service Shopify customers, so we have a lot of experience of what people say after using Shopify.
Yeah.
And the question that you said, have you ever seen any of the people moving out of Shopify? So since this is an operational thing, you get used to of things. While using Shopify, you get used to of it. And moving into a fresh new environment after scaling up, that is something which is a very drastic change and very big task for you to do. And that would take months when you have scaled up. So once people scale up, they generally do not move out of Shopify. And that is the most important reason of having so much of people around this e-commerce. 1 million plus stores are already live on Shopify. The only reason is you get used to of things, and things are very simple. Lingos used are very simple lingos they have used. It is the community in every country that they have strategic partnership managers in every country who look around things and who see how things can be better for all the other people in this particular industry. So this makes Shopify is a very good platform. This makes Shopify a very good platform to use. And apart from that, definitely referring resources of all the platform would give you better understanding that which platform you should choose apart from Shopify.
Sorry, my internet.
That's fine. We are anyway coming to a close of this. That's fine. We are coming close to the end of the session anyway. I was just asking Jinesh for some closing thoughts. Any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, I think let us so Shopify is actually it's a good platform to start any e-commerce merchant, e-commerce business, especially when you don't have high tech capabilities. It's a good platform to. It also is quite advanced if you deep into the documentation and other stuff. And so maybe that normally I would suggest any upcoming e-commerce merchant is to talk with few of the merchants who are already using Shopify and other platforms, and to see the difference, and if possible also to take a trial of all these solutions before committing to this.
When you're trialing, what would you ask them to look at?
So the first about when we started our presentation, the 4 bits is about whether you can easily manage the catalog, whether they can build the online store, whether they can do all the online type of marketing, and whether they can do the management, etc. Those are the main things. But yeah, and also how comfortable about using technology. They are quite they're easily able to, let's say, use different tech, I will say, let's say, tools, etc., and they are happy to, let's say, customize and do other stuff, customize the HTML, etc., and they want to have full control of technology. Maybe maybe they can think of using other platforms also. But if they want to have a simple and even robust solution where they don't want to worry much about technology and selling stuff, maybe Shopify could become a better solution. I don't mean to say that you can't do advanced stuff on Shopify. You can definitely do it. So I'll still say try both and see what works for you.
Sure. Thank you both, Saket and Jinesh. Thank you so much for taking the time for preparing this presentation and for taking the time to answer all of our questions. Really appreciate you making yourselves available for this. Now, also want to thank everyone, all of you who have joined here on Zoom or who are watching the stream on YouTube, and whoever might be, if you're watching the recording later, welcome to the to the session on Content Web. We are trying to do this on a weekly basis, covering a wide variety of topics around publishing, around content on online, right? And our next session next week is going to be on newsletters. And following that, we have a couple more sessions on data visualization. Uh, so if you have a merchant, if you are running an e-commerce store and you want to figure out how to visualize your data, you can join there. But yeah, so we have a session on newsletters next week. The following after that, we have data visualization, and then another session on HTTP3. If you want to learn about any of those topics, please do join. And if you have other topics that you think might be relevant that we should consider, you can suggest ideas. You can message us, or you can go to hasgeek.com/contentweb and propose ideas for sessions, as well as if you have some experts who you would suggest would be resource people who would be able to help us present or discuss those topics, you can also include that in the proposal on hasgeek.com/contentweb. Thank you all of you for coming, and please do follow Hasgeek to get updates on further sessions like this. Thank you, everyone.